Art has always found its inspiration in the strangest of places. We've seen masterpieces made from rubbish, sculptures carved from butter, and paintings that look like a child has just had a tantrum. But have you ever considered the humble toilet as a stage for beauty? This is the world of ToiGirls, a peculiar and rather wonderful art movement that places its subjects, often pretty, plump, or overweight women, in the most private of settings. It's a bit cheeky, isn't it? Taking something so everyday, so functional, and turning it into a gallery. It challenges our ideas of what is and isn't a suitable subject for art, making us question where beauty can truly be found. The whole idea might sound a bit shocking at first. We are so used to seeing women portrayed in idealized settings, like a goddess in a perfect garden or a queen on a golden throne. ToiGirls art takes that throne and swaps it for a porcelain one. The women depicted are not frail or impossibly thin. They are robust, confident, and utterly at ease in their surroundings. They are pin-ups for a different kind of sensibility, one that finds glamour not in fantasy, but in a strange, colorful, and very human reality. It's a celebration of the body in all its forms, presented with a playful wink and a complete lack of shame, which is incredibly refreshing. This focus on the toilet is not just for shock value. Think about it. The bathroom is one of the few places where we are truly alone, a space for quiet reflection or just a moment's peace away from the world. In ToiGirls art, this private sanctuary becomes a public spectacle, but one that feels oddly empowering. The women are not hiding. They are owning their space. They are queens of their ceramic castles, inviting the viewer into a world that is usually kept behind a locked door. It's a bold statement about privacy, vulnerability, and the performance of identity in our modern lives. When you first encounter a ToiGirls piece, you might chuckle. It's funny after all. The juxtaposition of pin-up glamour and bathroom mundanity is inherently comical. But as you look closer, something else emerges. There's a genuine warmth and affection in the way these women are drawn. They are not objects of ridicule. They are vibrant characters in a story that is both surreal and deeply relatable. This art form asks us to set aside our preconceptions and embrace the weird, the wonderful, and the beautifully ordinary, proving that a stage for art can be found absolutely anywhere, even in the loo. The story of ToiGirls begins in the vibrant, clashing cultural landscape of the 1980s. This was a decade of big hair, bold fashion, and a glorious fusion of styles from around the globe. ToiGirls was born from just such a mix, a creative collision between West German comics and Japanese manga. Imagine the gritty, satirical edge of German underground comics, known for their rebellious spirit and often raw character design, suddenly meeting the large, expressive eyes and dynamic lines of Japanese anime and manga. It was an unlikely pairing, a sort of artistic blind date that somehow resulted in a beautiful, strange baby. From its German comic roots, ToiGirls inherited a certain boldness and a love for the unconventional. German artists at the time were not afraid to tackle taboo subjects or to draw characters who looked like real, flawed people rather than airbrushed ideals. This is where the celebration of plumper, more realistic female forms came from. They weren't just drawing pin-ups, they were drawing personalities. These were women with attitude, strength, and a sense of humor about themselves. They were the antithesis of the delicate damsel-in-distress figures often seen in mainstream media, and they were all the more compelling for it. Then from Japan came the aesthetic flair. The 1980s was a golden age for manga and anime, and its influence was spreading across the world. ToiGirls art absorbed the clean lines, the vibrant color palettes, and especially the iconic anime eyes that are so effective at conveying emotion. This Japanese influence softened the gritty German edge, adding a layer of cuteness and accessibility. The result was a style that was simultaneously punk and pop, edgy and endearing. It was a look that felt completely new, a perfect visual metaphor for the cross-cultural pollination that defined the era. So, you had this fantastic hybrid, strong, confident women drawn with the rebellious spirit of German comics, but rendered with the stylish, expressive charm of Japanese manga. And where did they put these incredible characters? On toilets, of course. This final bizarre touch cemented the movement's identity. It was a deliberate, playful act of rebellion against the conventions of pin-up art. Instead of leaning against a sports car or lounging on a beach, The ToiGirls' domain was the bathroom, a choice that was as baffling to some as it was brilliant to others, and it ensured the art would never, ever be boring. The imagery in ToiGirls' art goes far beyond just a woman on a loo. It often spirals into something far more surreal and psychedelic. A key visual motif is the endless corridor of toilets. Picture a scene where a single woman sits on a toilet, but stretching out behind her and sometimes in front of her is an infinite repeating line of identical toilets, often without any partitions or stalls. This creates a dizzying, dreamlike effect, like something you'd see in a hall of mirrors at a fun fair. It's a visual that speaks to themes of conformity, infinity, and the strange, repetitive nature of our daily routines. These endless lavatories also tap into a distinctly psychedelic and hippie sensibility that was still echoing from the 1960s and 70s. The art often features swirling patterns, vibrant, clashing colors, and a general feeling that reality is a bit wobbly. The toilet, in this context, stops being just a toilet. It becomes a kind of portal or a launching pad for a journey into another state of consciousness. It's the mundane gateway to the magnificent. The act of sitting there is transformed into a moment of meditation, where the mind can wander off into these bizarre, colorful, and infinite inner landscapes. This idea of the toilet as a portal is central to the movement's deeper meaning. In some pieces, the bowl of the toilet seems to glow with an otherworldly light, or the cistern appears to be a doorway to another dimension. It's a very playful take on the spiritual idea of finding enlightenment in the everyday. The hippie counterculture was all about breaking down barriers between people, between cultures, and between the conscious and subconscious mind. ToiGirls' art does this in its own quirky way, suggesting that a portal to another world doesn't have to be a mystical stone circle. It could be the bog-standard loo at the end of the hall. This blend of the sacred and the profane is what gives ToiGirls its unique charm. It's art that doesn't take itself too seriously, yet it's filled with fascinating ideas. It draws on the hippie love of peace, color, and expanding one's mind, but it grounds these lofty concepts in the most down-to-earth setting imaginable. The women in these psychedelic scenes are our guides, calm and centered amidst the swirling chaos of the infinite bathroom. They seem to be telling us that transcendence isn't about escaping reality, but about finding the magic that's already hidden within it. For years, ToiGirls remained a beloved but niche memory of the 1980s, a quirky footnote in the history of underground art. But then, in the 2020s, an artist known simply as Geist rediscovered the style and began creating new works, breathing fresh life into the movement. Geist's art captured the original spirit perfectly. The blend of German and Japanese aesthetics, the confident, diverse women, and of course, the ever-present toilets. But Geist also updated it for a new generation, using digital tools to create even more vibrant colors and intricate psychedelic patterns, making the art feel both retro and completely contemporary. This revival quickly found a passionate audience, especially within university art circles and online underground communities. In a world saturated with slick, corporate-approved digital art, the raw, honest, and slightly bizarre nature of ToiGirls felt like a breath of fresh air. Students and young artists were drawn to its rebellious spirit and its body-positive message. People started sharing Geist's work online, and soon a new community of fans emerged. They found the art funny, relatable, and a welcome escape from the pressures of perfection that dominate so much of social media. Of course, not everyone gets it. A few critics have dismissed the art as vulgar or crude, misunderstanding its intent. They see a woman on a toilet and immediately jump to negative conclusions, failing to see the empowerment, the humor, or the artistic depth. But these criticisms are largely drowned out by the overwhelmingly positive reception. Most viewers understand that the art is not about debasement. It's about celebration. It's about challenging norms and finding beauty and dignity in a place where society tells us we shouldn't. The women are portrayed as powerful figures, not victims of a tasteless joke. Ultimately, ToiGirls has become a fascinating bridge between two eras. The toilet portal in the art now serves as a metaphor for the movement itself, a link connecting the rebellious energy of the 1980s with the cultural landscape of the 2020s. For older fans, it's a powerful wave of nostalgia, a reminder of a more experimental time. For younger fans, it's a discovery of something authentic and joyful. ToiGirls proves that good ideas never really disappear. They just wait patiently in the wings, or perhaps in the loo, for the right moment to make a glorious, psychedelic comeback.